Welcome into the G.O.A.T Show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Caleb Short. We don't have anybody else here in the studio today, but that's okay. Everybody knows I'm the best at this whole hosting gig, and I'm going to guide you through what is likely to be about a half hour of glorious Chiefs and Titans talk. We've got all sorts of great topics lined up. We're going to really dive deep into the Chiefs' 19-17 loss against the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. We're also going to talk a little bit about the recent Pro Bowl announcements. The NFL has come out and announced all of the Pro Bowlers for this year. It shouldn't really matter. The Chiefs are going to make the Super Bowl anyway, but we will talk about all four of the Chiefs' selections. And finally, we're going to wrap things up here with, I'm going to give a few picks against the point spread, and I'm also going to talk a little bit of Carlton Bragg and the Kansas Jayhawks basketball team. So that's basically all we've got lined up for you. Let's go ahead and jump right into things today. Chiefs lost to the Tennessee Titans. And I'm not going to lie, I saw it coming. I came out and said that I predicted the Chiefs to lose that game. Too bad we weren't able to record a show, but we were actually planning on recording a show before the game, but that didn't end up happening. But yeah, I came out and I said that the Titans were going to win that game, but I did not see it going the way it did. Although looking back on it, the Chiefs kind of followed the formula they've been following of late. They started out really strong. They started out strong against the Titans. They started out strong against the Raiders. They started strong a lot of games this season and have just been unable to score in the second half of late. The Chiefs have not scored an offensive touchdown outside of that Albert Wilson fake punt in, I believe, 4 weeks. And that obviously does not win games in the NFL unless you just can smoke and mirrors your way through it with, I don't know, random interceptions in the end zone on 2-point conversions. You know how it is. So the Chiefs cannot score on offense in the second half. And why would that be? Well, I've got a theory, honestly, and I can't wait to divulge it to you. Andy Reid last year in the playoff game against New England, everyone has butchered him to death about the terrible clock management. Anybody who's played Madden knows how to run a little bit of no huddle and call timeouts when necessary to try and set your team up and give them the best opportunity to score. And everybody saw this veteran head coach just completely inept at it last year in the playoffs. And we all butchered him, and then we went right back to, okay, yeah, he's still a great coach. Remember what we had before? Romeo Crennel was our head coach for a season, guys. So, I mean, it could be worse. And so we all kind of forget about it. But Andy Reid, once again, in game, has proven to not be the best coach. Here is my theory on Andy Reid. Andy Reid is, I believe, a top 1, 2, 3 type coach during the week in preparation and, all of the different little things that go into making a football team, player development and scouting. The Chiefs always manage to find, like Tyreek Hill, we found him, the 4th round, I believe, and he is going to make the Pro Bowl now. Like, Andy Reid and the general manager, John Dorsey, very, very good outside of the game coach and general manager. Where Andy Reid lacks a little bit, though, is in-game. He's planned out the game. He has scripted out his first few drives. He's got a whole bunch of plays that he's all ready to call that he knows are going to be successful against the opposing defense. And then the second half rolls around, and the other team has made adjustments, and he has not. And the offense suddenly is completely bogged down and can't move the ball whatsoever. And even when they do move the ball, the Chiefs had 3 possessions in the red zone that came out with 0 points there in the second quarter and beyond. That terrible 2 straight plays just trying to run power runs up the right side. I don't know if Andy Reid's watching the same team I've been, but this is not a team that you can just hand the ball off to the running back and say, go get me a yard. We're at the goal line, let's just run some people over. We don't have Willie Rolfe and Will Shields out there. You can't just hand the ball off behind tackle and just expect to get a yard. with this team. That's why people have criticized Andy Reid for being gimmicky in the past, like Jack Del Rio said a few weeks ago about the Chiefs being a really gimmicky offense. Well, they have to be. They don't have a line and they don't have a quarterback. How else are you going to move the ball? I mean, Alex Smith, we talk about how he is this great ball control offense quarterback, doesn't make any mistakes. I don't know, last 2 losses, interceptions inside the 5-yard line or something like that. Can't be having that, Alex Smith. Alex Smith, I mean, when he's in those Andy Reid scripted plays there at the first of the game, he's looked really good. I've remarked to it. I'm talking with my friends. I've remarked several times, like, he looks like a great quarterback today. And then it doesn't hold up, and you can't have that in the NFL. You've got to finish strong. That's what makes the great ones great, is the ability to win games at the end of the game. When your team needs you to make plays, you make plays. That's what made the Denver game on Sunday Night Football so amazing, was how Alex Smith did make plays. They were able to get that touchdown and that 2-point conversion. They were able to go down and get a field goal in overtime. Or not overtime, before overtime, at the end of regulation. That's what made that game so amazing, was Alex Smith actually went out there and made plays and won you a game at the end of the game. But then you get the bad. You get red zone interceptions. And for Alex Smith to be, as in that game, he threw for a whopping 159 passing yards. That's not good. You can't throw for 159 passing yards, even when it is 3 degrees outside. The Chiefs' offense has just been completely bogged down of late. You know, the Chiefs had 158 yards rushing. 68 of it was on one play to Tyreek Hill. Outside of that, the Chiefs could not run the ball. Spencer Ware's long run of the game was 9 yards. The Chiefs aren't breaking anything. They aren't giving the running backs holes that they can run through. The running backs aren't making their own holes. It's the offense, honestly, is just, the Chiefs haven't been able to run the ball for 3 months. The first game against the Raiders was the last time the Chiefs, they looked dominant in that game. That is the team. This team was built to be a power running football team with Spencer Ware. And it's just not happening right now. And I can't explain it. I don't know what the deal is. You went out there and you signed and drafted offensive linemen. Mitch Morris at center. I don't know why I decided to say his name. I'm trying to think of that other guy's name. I don't know what it was. But I know they signed that good offensive lineman. The Chiefs are not the Vikings with no offensive line trying to run the ball. The Chiefs have a decent line. They're designed to run the ball between the tackles, and they just haven't been able to do it. I don't know how to fix it. I'm not an NFL head coach. Hopefully Andy Reid can get a few things straightened out, because your race to the Super Bowl just got a lot harder. You can't go out and lose to the Tennessee Titans at home if you expect to be able to make a Super Bowl this year. The Chiefs are a Super Bowl caliber team. They haven't been able to put good games together, and they're still winning. If the Chiefs can put it together in the playoffs, they've got all of the tools to make a playoff run. But they're also right now sitting at the 5 seed. And they can very easily go down to Houston and lose. I don't know if you noticed, but that was week 2. They did it. They went to Houston. They lost. They can go to Tennessee. They can lose there too. The Chiefs are very capable of losing the first round of the playoffs. When last week at this time we were talking about how they had a chance at the 1 seed. You gotta win these last 2 games if you're Kansas City. You've gotta hope that the Raiders can fall to the Broncos. And you've got to get to that 2 seed. The Chiefs are not going to be able to win 3 straight road games in the playoffs and be able to make a Super Bowl. The Chiefs are not going to go win in Houston and then follow that by winning in, what would it be? They'd probably be playing in Foxborough and then in Oakland or something like that as a path to the Super Bowl. That's not happening. The Steelers still factor in there too. You're going to have to go play in Heinz Field. The Chiefs need a first round bye and then to have some cards fall their way if they want to make the Super Bowl. And a loss to the Titans. Like, the Chiefs' losses are all bad losses. Titans, Texans, Buccaneers, those are not good losses. And then whatever that thing was in Heinz Field, we'll forget about that one. The Chiefs have found a way to beat the Raiders twice, but then lose games like this. That's the random nature of the NFL, though. You've got to... It's the league you can't predict, but I'm going to try and predict it here right after a quick break. Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Yeah, of course it could, It depends on a lot of different factors. I mean, just to name a few, whatever company you're currently with. Maybe you've been with them for a long time and you haven't explored other options. Maybe the discounts that Geico offers would be beneficial to you over the discount your current company offers. It's always nice to explore your options. Geico really could save you 15% or more on car insurance. The following segment is brought to you by DraftKings. Just go to DraftKings.com, create your free account, click on the promo box, and type in a few random letters. I promise it'll be a promo code. Have you seen all the commercials they run? That's DraftKings.com to create your free account. Welcome back into the G.O.A.T Show, and it's time for our pick segment, the segment where I will try to do the impossible and predict the random nature of the NFL here against the spread. I'm here on oddsharks.com with the lines for this week's matchups. I've got 3 games for you that I would feel as comfortable as I possibly could about putting my money on the random nature of the NFL, which, keep in mind, I do not actually do. First off, let me start you out with a golden game featuring the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. Packers playing at home this week. 6.5 point favorites. Packers are playing for something. The Vikings have been trending downward basically the entire season. The Packers, I mean, how can you go against Aaron Rodgers? He said he's going to win every game for the rest of the season. I think he's going to win this one by 2 touchdowns. Sign me up for Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field when he's fighting for his playoff lives. If the Packers lose this game, they're probably not making the playoffs. Packers need to win this game, and they might even have a shot at the division still, with a huge game between Detroit and Dallas, which we will actually get to here in just a second. My next game of the week is Atlanta and Carolina. I know Atlanta's on the road, but Carolina has packed up their bags and is done for the season. There's no reason for them to show up. Atlanta has a reason to show up. This is going to be a common theme in your picks for Week 16 of the NFL season. What team has something to play for? And that is Atlanta. Atlanta, they're going to head over there to Carolina. They're going to give you a couple touchdown win. Easy win. Cam Newton's going to throw 3 interceptions. I'm a very outspoken Cam Newton critic. Cam Newton's probably not going to throw 3 interceptions, but I would feel comfortable taking Atlanta minus 3.5. And finally, Monday Night Football. We've got Detroit heading south into the land of Jerry Jones. Detroit's giving up 7 points in this matchup, so, I mean, Detroit, they've got something to play for. The Packers are absolutely breathing down their neck. Aaron Rodgers has been catching fire. Detroit has to win this game if they want a chance to win that division. At the very least, it's going to be close. Give me Detroit plus 7, and those are your picks of the week. Go ahead and lock those in. I'm sure you can make a ton of money. Feel free to let me know, when you win some money. Include me. We're all good. And so that's the pick segment. And finally, we've got, just to wrap the show up, we're going to talk a little bit of Pro Bowl. NFL recently announced the Pro Bowl selections. The Raiders have the most. The Chiefs, they have 4. The Chiefs are, you would think the Chiefs, being a very boring team. They would have a whole bunch of like linemen and linebackers and stuff making the Pro Bowl. Nope, it's skill position guys. We've got Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and then obviously the two defensive studs, Eric Berry and Marcus Peters. Eric Berry, his 5th Pro Bowl selection. Pay the man. He needs a contract. Let's get him signed up like we did Kelce in Hawaii last year. Give Eric Berry that extension he deserves. Marcus Peters has not been as impressive of late, but teams really aren't throwing at him anymore, and so obviously the numbers are going to go down, but the skill is still there. Glad to see that they've recognized him as a Pro Bowler yet again. Travis Kelce, he's come on really strong of late. He was not a Pro Bowler a month ago, but after those 4 straight 100-yard catch games, he's Pro Bowl. He's in. And honestly, he might have made it in on name alone, but he has the numbers to back it up at this point. Travis Kelce, a great selection. And finally, Tyreek Hill. What can I say? The dude doesn't have a ceiling. He continues to amaze every week. 68-yard touchdown last week against the Titans. Just absolutely unbelievable. The dude can fly, and that will translate well to the Pro Bowl. It's going to be... I mean, I'm not going to watch the Pro Bowl, because who cares, but it's good to see that your own guys are making it in and getting themselves a paid trip to Hawaii. Good for them. And finally, this is the part of the show where we talk about stuff other than Chiefs football. I know that stuff does exist at this time of year. There's no big Royals news. I mean, since our last show, they've introduced Jorge Soler. Nothing much to say there. They've had a press conference for him. There's no big sporting Kansas City news. I mean, the Sounders won the Cup. Woo! There's nothing really big except for Kansas basketball, the other pro sport here in the area. Kansas basketball, Carlton Bragg. You see this all the time now. Domestic violence, domestic violence, domestic violence. It's nice to see a guy who is accused and turned out wrongly just come out. He came out. I didn't do it. Look, video surveillance. Done. It's always good because less domestic violence is better, and so to see that a guy, especially one who plays for my team, not be susceptible to it. He came out and said it was a very embarrassing thing for him, but in the end, you didn't do anything wrong, Carlton. Great to have you back on the team. And, yeah, go out there. Do your thing, man. Do your thing. And that pretty much wraps the show up. Remember when I said this was going to be a 30-minute show? This is what happens when I record shows by myself. They get to the point a lot faster. Next week, we should be back with a full cast. We're actually maybe adding a new member to the team. Big shout out, Nick Streeter. Going to be great to have you. And we also might try and live stream it next time. May or may not do that. But, yeah, once again, any feedback you have is greatly appreciated. And with that, this is going to be the G.O.A.T Show. Season 1, Episode 2, signing off.